Okay, friends, it looks like we are live once again, and this is the third attempt. And I'm waiting for Kristin to hop back on. We closed the whole thing down, and we're going to start over. And apologies, this is me working through the technology here on air with you guys live. So we're waiting for Kristin to hop on, and we're going to jump right back into our conversation. In the meantime, let me just catch you up because I've said it now for 3 times. And it's kind of frustrating when just Zoom breaks down on you, but that's what happens. So we are going to talk with Kristin Schmidt. Kristin is our lead curriculum writer on the website. She's a director of children's education out in Colorado. And we've been taking this poll on the website since March 15th. And we've watched the churches close. And now we're watching them starting to open. And this week, it looks like 76% is going to be online only, but that means 24% are going to be back in person. So we're talking a little bit about how to manage that. And we just want to hear from you if your church is doing it or if you guys are still waiting. And oh, here's Kristin. Let's let her into the room. Hey, Kristin, are you back? Hey, Kristin, welcome back. I went ahead and went live just to see if I can break it before I got you involved. So
awesome.
How are we doing?
Or maybe I'm the one breaking it. Who knows?
Well,
we'll find out.
I wasn't going to say that, but what can we do? So welcome, everybody. Thanks for watching the third time in one day. And I'll probably delete the other two. But I'm Tony. I'm from ministrytochildren.com. We're the free website that helps you do children's ministry with free lessons and such. Kristin is our lead curriculum writer. She's also the director of Christian education at a church in Colorado somewhere. I don't know how to get to Colorado except from an airplane. And, that's kind of out of the question right now. Funny thing, me and Kristin, we've worked together how many years? Pop quiz, Kristin.
It's been a while. I mean, at least like 6 or 7?
Yeah, it's been forever. Like when I met you, you were 12, so whatever. But the funny thing is, we've never met. We've only talked on the internet,
and on the phone.
Which is cool, and that tells you kind of what Ministry to Children's all about. We are just people doing real ministry in lots of different places, and we come together and share that on the internet and try to help you guys. So let me double check and make sure Facebook Live is still live. Yep, it looks like we're live. It looks like we've got 20 people. Awesome. So you guys, please ask some questions. And question number 1 is, why do you keep breaking Facebook, Tony? That's question number 1. So to recap what we've said so far, in the first 30 minutes of failed Facebook Lives, we have had a good time talking about churches reopening. We've talked about what you can do, what you can't do. And that's probably the most important stuff. So Kristin, summarize it in 20 seconds. What should everybody be doing?
Well, it really depends on, as far as going back to church and restarting things, it depends where you are. It depends what your restrictions are. And, we want to make sure that we are concerned about keeping everyone safe, keeping everyone healthy, and obviously obeying the law. So if you're restricted to how many people you can have or what you can do, take all of that into consideration. We're all eager to get back in business and doing things, but we need to be mindful of, maybe we are still doing Sunday school via Zoom for a little while, or maybe we're still in a limited capacity as far as what we can do and how we can do it. So yeah, it kind of just all depends.
Well, and let me throw this back out, and we do have some questions coming in now. Carolina's asking about Bible school, and I know that's a big topic for you. It's a big topic for me, and we're going to hit that in just a minute. But let me say this. I'm hearing from all different spectrums of Christians, and this is going to be an issue with a lot of gray areas. So Christians, don't be mean to each other, please. Let's just chill, because I have Christian friends and pastors who have this principle, do no harm, right? So they are not going to open the church. They're not going to do anything that has like a 1% chance of killing somebody in their congregation. And I'm like, hey, that's good. I don't have a problem with that. And then there's other people who I know on the internet, maybe not my personal friends, but they email me and say, why are Christians so I don't know, I forget the exact word, but basically it's like wimpy. Why don't you trust God? I mean, do you not believe Jesus is the great physician? Why are we afraid of some little virus? Why are we going to let Satan, his darkness, win? Right? What would you say, Kristin? Where you come down? Right in the middle?
I mean, you've got to have a balance. So I trust God, but I still wear a seatbelt when I get in a car.
Okay.
I think that it's important we cannot live in fear. We've not been given a spirit of fear. So it's not, I believe that if it's my time, it's my time. I'm not afraid of getting sick or of death, but you still have to be smart. You still have to be sensible. God loves us and protects us, and he also gave us good sense and brains, and also, like, for me, I want to be mindful of those around me. So I understand that some people are more concerned than other people, and I want to, out of decency and respect and love, I want to honor the fears that other people might have, and just demonstrate that I care. And there's a lot of opinions going around, but I think I agree, like you said, we don't need to be mean to each other.
Yeah, this is not a situation where you can be judgmenting. You can't judge your brothers and sisters. I mean, everybody's coming at this from a different scenario. Like if you have a lot of elderly in your church or you don't, if you're in a rural area like Indiana and you just don't have a lot of virus, or if you're in New York and you have a lot of virus, everybody's coming at this from different. So let's just give grace to each other and trust pastors, trust local leaders, trust church governing boards, however the decision's made. You got to do the smart thing. You got to protect people. You got to follow the law. We shouldn't be there's a time for Christians to break the law. This is not it. If they say you can't preach Jesus's name, you say, yeah, we're going to preach Jesus' name. But if they say, hey, you can't breathe on each other. Okay, that's a little different. Not breathing on it. That's essentially what this is. You can't breathe on each other. So space it out, do outdoors and all this. So we've got some questions rolling in, and thank you guys. If you have been through the first 2 failed attempts today, we think we have it right. So everybody is talking about VBS, Kristin, and that's perfect because you wrote the article. You wrote the article about what to do on VBS. Carolina said, are you having VBS? Anita said, question about VBS. They have a 6-week VBS, but because of the pandemic, they decided not to. What are some suggestions? And is there a theme? I'm in the Lord's army. And then Christina says, hi, Tony and Kristin, straight out of the Philippines. Thank you. I don't know what time it is there. I hope this time works for you guys. I'm not very good on, I couldn't even figure out Kristin's on Mountain Time and I'm on Eastern Time. And I was like, I had to ask Google, cause we said 3:30 for her. And I said, okay, Google, what? Oh, don't do it. Man,
Don't really do it.
That's creepy. It does it.
We're always listening.
So Sunday school teacher in church, she appreciates your lessons and your curriculum and your crafts. And that's all Kristin, because before Kristin started doing crafts, we had 12 crafts on the whole website. And now we have what, 50? It's every week we get more. Growing. Well, it's
a lot of paper plates.
It's the paper plates are done, but it's 3 a week. Okay. Let's talk. Oh, it's 6 a.m. Bless you.
Wow.
Share some coffee.
Good morning.
This is tea time here, which I'm not English, but I just thought it would be tea time. Because I need a name for these Facebook Lives. If they work, we should give them a cool name like Tea Time with Tony, or Ministry Coffee Break, or 2 people who don't know how to run Facebook Live breaking your afternoon and frustrating you every week. All right. So 6 a.m. Bless you. All right. Let's talk about VBS. I'll tell you what we're doing. We don't know. That's what our church is doing. We officially don't know. We have screen fatigue, so we're not sure about virtual. We were going to do backyarding, but yeah, I don't know. It's like people aren't committing. We have a great outside space, so We could do an outdoor thing at church with like 20 kids and probably be legal for less. But I don't know. It's still up in the air because we're a small church and we can change quick. And whatever we do, we're not going to expect, like I feel like a lot of small churches will have, if you have 50 kids in your ministry book, like all the 50 kids who ever come in a normal year or a normal month, you're going to have 100 at VBS. That's what I always feel like. It's going to be about double your ministry book. So a small church like ours, we don't expect that. We expect just like kid church families. So it's not as exciting for us, maybe, but we'll see. There's a lot of summer left out there, especially if they cancel school in the fall. Kristin, what are you doing? Colorado.
So I am hoping now, I'm not 100% sure like you, we're still figuring it out. And I did I put out a survey for the congregation to kind of gauge what people thought we should try and do, what we preferred. And the majority seemed to think that they would hope we could still hold VBS in the same way it has been done. I don't see how that's, I am sure it's not going to be possible to do it just like we've done it in the past, because it's been a huge outreach to all the neighborhood kids, get as many people as you can, get close to 100 kids in the same space kind of thing. And we're just not going to be able to do that. But I'm hoping that we're going to be pushing back the date of our VBS. So I'm hoping that we can still do something that at least we can reach a good amount of people. And like you, we've got a decent outside space. So I'm thinking maybe we can use a, split, have things in separate rooms and have things outside. And it's hard to gauge because we don't know exactly how open or how available, we don't know what their limitations are going to be just yet. So I'm aiming for late July right now so that we can see how much we can get to do for VBS. But there's a lot of options out there, and it really is so dependent on, your size and your state and what the limitations are. I mean, some states are a lot more open right now than others. And a few of the things I mentioned in the article were, maybe you can turn VBS into like a summer Sunday school thing, or maybe you wait until the last second and you have like a one-day VBS blast where it's not going to take up as much planning time. So you can just wait until the end. I've had people that mentioned maybe doing something in fall and waiting until later. And then of course there's the virtual option. Like you, I think a lot of our kids and adults are just very screened out right now between doing Zoom for school and everything else. They're just
well, and this is the challenge, because when we are planning VBS, and this is for everybody watching on Facebook Live, you guys leave a comment, you can agree or disagree with this, but we're not planning it for you, Kristin. You're not planning VBS for Kristin,
right?
You're planning VBS for the families and the kids in your community, so we have to decide in advance what's going to best fit their needs. And right now things are so confusing. We don't know what they need or can handle or will do. We have, according to the calendar, we have 2 blessed weeks of e-learning left. And then I'm going to unplug Ariana's computer and put it in the closet and say, sorry, hon, you have to be a kid now. Go play, right? Go outside. So immediately at the beginning of June, I don't know about, MTC Tea Talk or TTTT Temple Time Tea. See, this is what I need to do. I need to open up these questions to like the smart readers, because I think when you have a group, our website has a ton of readers, and the Facebook has like 60,000 people. I don't even know. So there's a lot of smarter people out there, and we're just kind of the clowns making it all work. So back to VBS, like you said push it back, modify capacity, modify location, like backyard or different locations, modify the schedule, do it like one Saturday or, one day a week, over the fall, turn it to your Wednesday. My default was always like, when I was reviewing a lot of VBS curriculum for the different companies, they would all send it to me and I'd review it. I would always be like, okay, here's how I'm going to review it. I'm going to teach it for this month is Lifeway VBS on Wednesday night. Next month is group VBS on Wednesday night. We would just do that. And that's how I got to know all these curriculums so well. But, the word I think of with VBS, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kristin, and interrupt me if I talk too much or get Fiona after me, but the word is creative. That's the whole point of VBS, right? Let's be creative. And that means schedule. That means capacity. That means location. That means volunteers. Get those teenagers out there. If you have to scale down and do some stuff with a big screen, kind of virtual, hey, do it. Kids need the gospel. You saw Ariana here. What do you think about Ariana? Do you think Ariana has social needs? Ariana, come here. Oh, come here. Do you have social needs? Do you need other kids? Yes or no? You're just happy with your daddy at the house doing homework? Yeah, get out of here.
She's got ice cream. She's happy there.
No, she has ice cream needs right now. So, I mean, when you're talking about Bible school, kids. Ow, okay, that's enough. Now you're taking it over. All right, Kristin, let's.
And another thing that is another word that's important to remember in VBS is flexibility. You've got to be flexible. You can have a great thing on paper, but when the kids show up and they start running around and your volunteers call out and you have to rearrange things, like you've got to have backup plans, and you've got to be able to rearrange and go with it. And at the end of the day, you focus on what the kids get out of it. So, as a VBS director, I've been a VBS director for several years, and there's always going to be something that goes wrong. The first day is always a crazy kerfluffle of getting people where they need to be and putting out fires and figuring it out. And the thing that I always hoped for was, okay, let's hope that the kids don't notice it too much. Maybe everything in my mind is going all kinds of crazy, but are the kids still having fun? Are the kids still learning? Are they still getting the gospel? At the end of the day, that's what you're going for. So, it's like you said, it's about the kids. However you can do that and reach them the most, that's what we have to aim for.
Yeah. And this goes back to, like, what are we doing in children's ministry? I mean, we're not just putting on day camps for the community. We are trying to bring children in and show them love and show them Jesus. And, if that's the order, that's pretty wide open. You can do a lot of cool things. And safety. I know I kind of feel like safety is something we write into our policies, and we just think, oh, it's done because it's in our policies. And we have responsible human adults, supervising the kids who aren't going to do anything stupid too. So, I mean, safety is such a value. I mean, with anybody's kids, you're not going to drop your kids off at a church event where you think they're going to get hurt or abused or lost or infected, so if whatever we do, we've got to have safe, we've got to make it about Jesus, we've got to make it fun. And so I think a lot of people are still dealing with this, and I love these comments because everybody's thinking of it right now. Okay, a couple specific questions. Maker's Fun Factory. I've not heard of that. Do you know that one?
I have heard of it. I don't know a lot about it. I think it's a group one, but I'm not 100% sure.
So it's like maybe groups, like I know Group has their main line, they have their Holy Land Adventure, and then they have their Easy VBS, but then they have like Weekend VBS. And I think this is where stuff like Weekend VBS is going to make sense. So if that's the Weekend VBS, I would definitely check it out. Somebody asked about I'm in the Lord's Army. And I don't know of any major theme this year that's at. We have a Bible. We have one on our website. We have like 8 free VBSs. I should probably promote that. We have free VBS. And these are more popular for churches who can't get it from other direct, like we have about 20% of our audience is not in the US. So it's hard to get printed materials. So they just love all the, anything we can give them that's free. They love it because they just print it wherever they're at. So we have one that's called Bible Boot Camp. If you Google Bible Boot Camp VBS, you're going to find it. It's one of the ladies who wrote for us like 7 or 8, maybe 10 years ago. and churches have done it. It's just the armor of God. So it's pretty fun. We don't have music picked out for it because it's just, lessons and games and stuff on our website. But the Go Fish guys, they have a really cool I'm in the Lord's Army song, which kind of takes the armor of God. And then that old hymn, I'm in the Lord's Army, kind of throws it together. So that's kind of the idea. Okay, so somebody chime back in. They directed that one from group, the Wonder Workshop. Is that what we said it was?
Makers
Workshop. Yeah, it's from Group Publishing, and they did it a few. Audrey, thank you for that. Was it awesome? Did you love it? Our church is doing Miss Kristin's Olympic VBS from your children's ministry website. Do you remember that, Kristin?
Yes, that's a fun one.
Maybe that merits a screen share because I haven't looked at that in so long. So here's the thing, and Kristin,
unfortunately, the Olympics have been postponed, but oh well.
Yeah, that was perfect. I think you probably wrote that 4 years ago, didn't you?
I think I did.
Yeah. And you guys don't know this. If you don't know Kristin, like I don't know Kristin because, like I said, I don't know Kristin, but Kristin is an athlete. She is like, what do you call yourself? Do you call yourself a marathoner or a trail runner?
I'm a runner. It covers all the bases.
But you did it in college for real, right? So you know about that.
Oh yes. Yeah, I did high school and college athletics, and now I just do it for fun and for sanity, whether that's insane or sane, you can be the judge. But
yep.
So now I run trails, I run roads, I run all over the place. And
you just run, and you're in Colorado, which is supposedly the best place for runners. Supposedly.
Yes. A lot of professional runners come here to train at the altitude. And which is, it's an interesting, when I first moved out here, I moved from Georgia to Colorado, and people were asking, how's the altitude affecting you? And coming from Georgia, where it's like 90% humidity and you're drinking the air, it didn't really seem that bad to actually have dry weather. But
right.
But it's fun when I go back to sea level and I'm like, ooh, there's so much air. There's a lot of oxygen out here. This is awesome. But well, I love it.
I'm sorry.
There are many ways, you mentioned that in the context of the Olympic VBS, there are just so many ways that you can relate running or just athleticism in general to spiritual elements. So it's kind of a fun connection.
Running for the prize. Okay, I found it.
Yep, that's
flashback here. And I'm changing the subject because Kristin's going to try to rub it in that I used to be a runner. And now I'm a walker. So I enjoy the walking just as much. But Running for the Prize, Olympic Theme VBS by Kristin Schmidt. Here you go. 36-page download. And just there, it's one click and you got it. So that's on the website. And good work, Kristin.
Thank you. That was a really fun one. I really enjoyed writing that, and I did it at my church the year that I wrote it. And I enjoyed it a lot. We kind of incorporated an around the world theme along with the athletics theme, since the Olympics celebrate many countries. So we did a little of both. We did some of the country theme and some of the sports theme. And then we threw in some work with the Apostle Paul, because he was a missionary who also used a lot of athletic analogies. And so we had a really good time with that one. And there's a lot of ways you can spin it and take it. And it's another one that you can adapt, if you wanted to make it into a summer Sunday school, or if you wanted to make it into a shorter program or a stretched out or spaced out, or it's adaptable. You can pick and choose and take what you like and toss out what you don't care for. And
that's kind of the mantra of our whole website. Like if you find something helpful, please take it, use it, adapt it. We have a please copy policy. I don't know if you guys have heard me say this before, but you can take anything from our website, copy it, change it, tweak it, do whatever you need to do to it in your church, in your mission group, in your Christian school, anywhere you need to. You can even put it on your blog. I don't care. I mean, whatever you need to do to help people or help people do children's ministry. I mean, that's weird, kind of like a big toolkit. Take what you need, and it's free. So there you go. So I cut you off, Kristin, but here's the rest of the free VBSs. I found them There's an Army of God, Big Heart Farms. And I don't remember how many of these. Running for the Prize, Minecraft, Outlaws for God, Super Fruit, A Week with Jesus. Yeah, so there's all these different ideas on our website that are, completely free. This is not a commercial, of course. You guys are here because you already know our website, but thank you for reminding me of that because I forgot. We're still live on Facebook. We didn't break it. I thought the screencast might have what broke it last time, so I was really nervous to do that. But get some more of these comments. Appreciate all you do. A dedication. South Carolina, thank you. Oh, let me see which one I should do. I'm going to do the hug. The hug one's kind of cool on Facebook now. Yeah, everything's pending. Yeah, everything's pending here too. I mean, our church has said June 14th. This is Indiana, and that's kind of late for Indiana. There's some churches already open, but our church just kind of be careful and stuff. So I don't think a few more weeks of online is gonna hurt you now at this point. If your church didn't fall apart after 8 weeks, then maybe 2 more weeks is not gonna destroy it. But
well, like you said, it's being careful for the older members as well. You've got plenty of people who are chomping at the bit and would love to get back together, but if you've got a decent percentage over 60, you need to be mindful of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And good thing. Okay, let's jump back. This is something we said in our first attempted recording, and I thought it was pretty powerful because, I have a friend who's in children's ministry, and she's part-time, and she doesn't get to go to all the conferences, and she doesn't get to do all the training. She's not been to Bible college, seminary. And now that children's ministry is online and she's seeing other people do their children's church every week, and she's in like chit chat groups with people talking about what they're doing, she just feels so inadequate. Like, how can I be a children's minister when all these people are the standard? How's God going to use me? How would you answer that, Kristin?
I mean, God is not dependent on how well you are, how many conferences you can go to, or how well versed in technology you are, or how perfect you are at all these things. God can use anything. He used a donkey and a shepherd, and he's pretty good at using people who might think of themselves as inadequate or lesser. And at the end of the day, it's about how much you demonstrate your genuine love for the kids. And it's about, the kids that you're working with, whether that's 5 or whether it's 500. Like, you are making a difference when you show them that you care. And you can, there are so many ways that you can be creative and that you can have fun and teach, and that kids can learn. You don't have to have all the bells and whistles. You don't have to have all of the background and experience and knowledge and books. And, do you care? God has placed you where you are for a reason, and he's going to use you if that's your heart. There's always going to be something that you can look at and compare yourself to and feel like you're not as good. There's always going to be something that you don't measure up to in your eyes. But, at the end of the day, we're there for the kids. Like we said with the VBS, it's about the kids, and it's about doing the best that we can and being willing to be used by God, however he's going to make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Like exactly what you said. You love those kids. That makes you the most qualified person on earth to teach them, right? I can't walk into your church Sunday if I somehow took a bus. No, I wouldn't take a bus either. Won't take a plane, won't take a bus. I would have to just drive my car. If I drove my car to Colorado 20 hours later, 20 hours later, I couldn't walk into your ministry and I could walk into your ministry and I could perform a children's message. I could perform this, but I don't know those kids. I don't know, what Johnny's going through in his home. I don't know what kids have, spiritual hunger right now, what kids are kind of feeling cold toward the Lord. I don't know that because I'm not there every week. So and this is why, no Sunday school, no matter how small, is forgotten by God. Because if you just have 2 kids, have a great opportunity more than anybody else. Like if you had 50 kids, maybe wow, that's big. But those 2 kids, you can know them so much. So I had something smart to say and I totally forgot it, Kristin. Well, maybe we'll save that for next time. Any parting words you want to throw out to these blessed people who have been listening to us? And if you guys enjoyed this, leave me a comment. Let me know, because this is fun for me. So it's not a big deal. If you find it helpful or confusing or ridiculous, let us know and we'll stop or do it more. Whatever. Any parting thoughts, Kristin? Tomorrow is the Holy Spirit Day, right? The Spirit Comforter is the lesson tomorrow, right?
Yes, that's the one that I did that one based on the gospel lesson from John.
Oh. Thank you, Barney. Kristin, why didn't you tell me that?
Oh, sorry. I noticed it when you first started talking. I didn't want to interrupt, and then I got used to it, so I forgot to tell
There you go. I put that up because when my daughter comes in the room and I have to say, I don't want to be obnoxious. Thank you, Barney.
There we go.
All right. The Holy Spirit Comforter. And I'm going to attempt to screen share again because I think these are great lessons that you put up this week or like last week for this week. But
I know. See, I'm all over the place now because I have to I'm thinking, okay, this week which is coming up this week, and which is
you're doing the Ascension for a week from now. But I'm talking about John 14, the Holy Spirit Comforter.
Yep. Yeah, that's the one for tomorrow.
And you did this great object lesson with photos that remind you of people and the comfort. And you got into talking about how God loves us and cares for us, and he wasn't just going to leave us without comfort. When Jesus went back to heaven, he didn't leave us without comfort. So I think that was a tremendous message, and I'm I'm confident lots of families are going to be watching it. And I think once churches get back into the swing of things, they're going to be doing the children's sermon. If even a church that might be their only children's ministry is this children's sermon. So Kristin, let me encourage you to keep doing those. Those are awesome.
It's fun, it challenges me in unique ways, and that's one of the neat things about teaching is a lot of times when you're having to think about putting these principles into the kiddie size version, and you're kind of thinking of creative ways. A lot of times it really connects you more to the Bible as well, and it brings you closer to what God has done and is telling us, just because you're, when you're really thinking of that. It's like some people say the best way to learn something is to teach it. That applies for children's ministry as well. It's definitely for the kids. We want it to be a blessing for the kids, but I find that, as a teacher, it helps. I think it helps us to learn as well. When we're sharing it with children, I think that blesses and teaches us in tremendous ways as well. And it's just, it's just a neat thing. You never know what God's doing all the time,
Right.
He's gonna be working in ways that you have no idea or couldn't know. So it's really just something to take heart and take encouragement from. You never know what you're gonna say or do that you don't always remember, you don't always recognize the impact that will have. You won't always see it here on earth, but it will have an impact. And that's just something to keep in mind, what you say and do matters. And if you're willing to be used by God, he's going to use you.
Well, and we can wrap up on this idea, but I just remembered it. The thing I wanted to say 5 minutes ago, and I forgot, when we talk about inadequacy or you feel like you measure up, like a lot of people in children's ministry, you might feel that about big churches, but you might also feel that about the other staff at church, and I struggled with this when I first came out of seminary. I got a master's degree and a Bible degree and all this mess. And people I went to school with, they got these respectable church jobs, and they were this and they were that. And I was the children's pastor, and I was moving soccer goals around on a Saturday morning, and I was, cleaning up glitter. Why glitter? That's something you learn your first few years. If you do glitter, that's an outside activity.
Yes.
And so, for my first several years in ministry, I was just I was, I had this, it's a macho guy thing, maybe, I don't know, but maybe girls have macho guy moments too. I don't know. I don't know how that works. But the idea that somehow because God has called you to this place or this position and not something else doesn't mean you're less than, you're less valuable, any of that mess. You are what God's called you to be for those people, and nobody else can replace that. That's your deal. And I think that's special and powerful. And I tell people, missionary, you want to be a missionary to the future. That's children's ministry. You are a missionary to people not even born yet, because those kids you tell about Jesus are going to tell kids about Jesus once you're long forgotten. Be a missionary to the future. If you want to know where God's at on Sunday morning, come to the church nursery, because God is with the little ones. Over and over in scripture, you see that God is with the children. And, Jesus, what more could he do? He called the little children unto himself and said, if you don't come to me like this little child, if you accept a little child, all those Bible passages, nobody needs to be ashamed in children's ministry. I think it's actually a demotion. And I told that to a friend who left children's ministry. He was in children's ministry, and then he became the family pastor. Then he became the youth pastor. Then he became the campus. It was a big church. He became the campus pastor. And I said, bro, you just got demoted. You went down because you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Stay where it's good. Stay where the Lord's blessing you. But anyway, that's my bias.
Yes. And you think of the body, some people are a foot, some people are a finger, some people are an armpit, whatever you're doing, do it to the best of your ability.
Amen.
The armpit might stink, but it hinges that whole arm onto the rest of the body.
That's right.
You need all of it.
There's no rotation without that. All right. Well, Kristin, thank you so much for jumping on this. I gave you such short notice, and I gave everybody on Facebook short notice, and I'm keeping the expectations so low. Thank you for the people who are watching now and who put up with our first failed attempts. And I don't know why that was, technology. But keep leaving your questions. If you're watching this later, you can leave questions too. I'm going to be back and forth in the comments answering. And if you enjoy it, please tell me. And we'll do some more. If not, it'll just fade away.
Fade away. It never happened.
We'll pretend it'll fade down the Facebook page. It'll be like that that pizza photo you put up 3 years ago on Facebook and you don't remember. That'll be it. So
right.
Okay. Thank you, Christina. Thank you for that comment. Anita, you guys are great. You guys who are hanging on here with us, we really appreciate it. And it's time to probably hop off here. It's been 38 minutes and I don't know. Kristin, you got to talk more. Just make me stop.
Thank you. Well, thank you. Thank you, Tony. And thank you all of the watchers and users and readers. And, just really appreciate that you're able to use this. And it's a blessing to be a part of it. And it's always exciting to hear from people. I'm like, oh, people are actually watching it and actually listening and using it. Sometimes I feel like doing online ministry is sort of like throwing confetti out of a hot air balloon and just hoping that it lands in places where it's going to help someone and someone can find it and use it. And you don't always hear about it. So it's nice to have people that are using it and responding. And that's awesome. You guys are great.
And Kristin is way too humble because I can show you there's like 2,000 churches on any given Sunday who are downloading your stuff, Kristin. And you have a couple hundred watching on YouTube too. There's people using your stuff. It's powerful. So keep doing it. And where's your cat? We've waited all this time.
Let me show you what she's doing. This is
So inside joke at the very end of the video, if you guys have left, I forgive you. It doesn't hurt my feelings. Every YouTube video she does, she has this cat that just creeps up on her. But when I ask for the cat, it hides. So there you go.
She doesn't want to perform if she's asked to.
Yeah, she's
Come on, Fiona. She only wants to jump in on the conversation if she knows I don't want her around. Then she'll be right there front and center.
She's a diva. She's a diva. Well, Kristin, hey, keep us posted on that VBS stuff, and we're gonna work it out 1 week at a time. Thanks everybody to watch, and God bless you guys in your ministry.
Definitely. Thank you.